Time. What if we just say for a moment, there is no time at all? There's no such thing as past or future. Let's assume that all time takes place now. You can think of it as the pages of a book. While we are reading, the pages are separated. But when we look at the book itself, the story is actually in one place. It's always now. It's always here.
We all have a desire to create something that will show we were here and did something of value, to create something timeless.
The new Porsche 911. Timeless machine.
To create something timeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the executive board, Oliver Blume.
Creating something timeless. So, very Porsche's words. Ladies and gentlemen, what does it mean? For us at Porsche, it means sticking to principles on design, on engineering, and on performance. Ignoring short-term trends, doing more with less, not equipping the car with the biggest engine you can find, but with the one that fits the concept best. And constantly refining those core principles so that they stay relevant. By doing so, you get a car with a unique character, intensified with every generation. You get the Porsche 911, the original sports car. The 911 is the heart of Porsche, and this has been the case since 1963. After 7 generations, we now welcome the latest 911, a car that our long-standing fans will love just as much as the postmodern generation. Porsche is famous for its timeless design, and the new 911 proves it again. It has clear links to the original, and at the same time, it hits the spirit of the time. The 911 has spent many hours in the gym. It's more compact and crisp. Inside, it is a lot more intuitive with a new Porsche Advanced cockpit. With 443 horsepower in the US, which equals 450 metric horsepower, the new S model is already as powerful as the GTS of the last generation. Top speed, 191 miles per hour. The power is controlled by a new 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox. That continues the evolution of the 911 towards greater efficiency. And of course, later next year, our traditional manual will be available as well. We have added performance and cut down emissions, thanks to more sophisticated engineering, such as the new injection technology inside our 6-cylinder flat engine. In fact, since the 80s, the 911 has become 70% more powerful, but almost 30% more efficient. We also demand more tech on the digital side, and the 911 delivers. The world's first wet mode detects water on the road. It warns the driver while preparing the car's control and safety systems to react. An optional night vision system uses a thermal camera to help you see in the dark. And the new risk radar analyzes swarm data to warn about fog, low grip, or accident long before they come into view. Innovation and performance are crucial for an iconic sports car. But that's not enough. You as a customer expect the best quality you can get. And that is what Porsche stands for. More than 70% of all 911 are still running. That's what sustainability means for us. And from today on, we also help our customers to improve their carbon footprint. With Porsche Impact, they are able to calculate the emissions of their driving. They can reduce that footprint with investment in climate-friendly projects worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here in California, the home of the app. That's why we have some special Porsche apps you're going to like. First, the Porsche Road Trip offers great routes and breathtaking spots. This app makes its debut with the 911. It's available immediately in the US for everyone, not only for Porsche drivers.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be out here. We're actually not far from Hollywood, so we need a twist of Hollywood here tonight. He is a star in Codename Uncle, Guy Ritchie's movie. He has been fighting in a hotel battle in Hotel Mumbai. So please welcome, I'm going to be a gentleman here. I will open the door for him. Armie Hammer, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. So, mate, that was a pretty tough drive for me, but did you enjoy it, and what do you think of it?
I mean, I don't know if you can tell, I'm still smiling. I feel like a kid in a candy shop when I'm in one of these. I mean, it's fantastic. Very gracefully done, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. You got under a little bit of pressure, mate, because a lot of guys before you in the acting scene, James Dean, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, he's a legend, he's my favourite. Have you got any favourites? Because these boys love these cars. So,
yeah, no, man, I think you nailed it. That's pretty much the top of the list. You know, Paul Newman for me will always be a personal hero and a favorite, and also as someone who loves cars, knowing that one of your heroes is also a car enthusiast and a great driver is fantastic.
I know you did one of your first drives in a 356, right?
I did. I learned to drive stick shift in a 1955 bathtub Speedster, a 356. And my dad got the car for my mom as like here, you know, this will be a great car for you to drive around. But she got too many speeding tickets in it. Yeah. So he said, okay, that's mine now. I'll take that. And then when I was about 12 or 13 years old, he taught me how to drive stick in it.
And ever since then, that's really what's brought you to the brand. So
Yeah.
you're loving Porsche to this day, mate. You've been out to the experience centre here in the past.
I have. I raced out here. I came out to do the experience with the Turbo S's and the GT3s and walked off of the course just pulsing with adrenaline and a smile that went ear to ear. And I was walking out of the building, and I just thought, these are the greatest cars I've ever seen in my life. I hate my own car now. And as I'm walking out the door, I see one sitting by the door, and I just thought, yeah, that's going to have to be mine now. And I called my wife, and I said, she said, how was the experience? And I said, it was greater than what was sold to me, which is very rarely the case. And I think I'm going to be driving home in a new Porsche. And she said, no, you're not. Get home right now. I said, all right, fair enough.
We'll work on her.
Yeah,
We'll work
yeah,
on her,
yeah.
mate. Well, mate, take a seat. It's great to have you up here. We're going to see a little bit more of you later on. So
Yeah.
a bit of a round of applause, please, for Army. Thank you. It's now time to bring on a couple of gentlemen that have a very, very instrumental part in this car and also in previous generation 911s. But for the sexy body lines and the interior, I'd like to welcome on stage Head of Porsche Style, Michael Mauer, please. Hey, mate. Hey. Michael, Ferry Porsche once said, quote, "The perfect car doesn't exist, but as engineers and designers, we must do everything we can to get closer to this ideal." How the hell do you redesign a Porsche 911?
Let's say, since my boss is sitting over there, I would tell you...
Looks like there's a few of them.
Yeah, but this is really one of the hardest jobs
Yeah.
you can have in the car industry. But I mean, designing an icon, and this is not just an icon, it is the icon in the car industry. And yeah, as I said, a pretty hard job, but looking at the car so far, I'm pretty happy. And yeah, what did we basically? We just cleaned the surfaces and straightened the lines.
Little bit of 70s, though. Talk about that. There's a little bit of a 70s theme in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, whenever we start with the job, we have a discussion what is really the, let's say, the characteristics we would like to achieve. And then we said the car should become more muscular and should look more compact. And we looked at the history and found out that the 930, the first turbo, is really the car that inspired us a lot with its extended wheel arches and this narrow waist and this very expressive Coke bottle shape. So that was really the car we had all the time with us in the studio.
Sounds cool. Little pit stop with you, please, Michael. I want to introduce now an individual that's had, I mean, he's got one of the best nicknames ever. Can you imagine having a nickname called Mr. 911? I mean, that's a pretty cool nickname, isn't it? 15 years he's been involved in the last 3 lines of the 911. Please welcome on stage August Achleiner. August. I want to bring you to the rear of the car, please, August.
Yeah.
Because we know the Porsche 911 has always been rear engine. Goes against a little bit of weight distribution and all these things, which I know a little bit about, but in terms of the icon of the 911, it's always been leader of class, leader in its segment, and this beautiful balance between track and street. But what have we done, and how's the focus still going to make sure that we're still on pole position when it comes to rear-engine high-performance street cars?
Yeah, sometimes people say in the past, well, that's the biggest disadvantage of this car, the weight distribution, because the engine is in the back of the car. But in my opinion, it's the biggest advantage of the car, because the whole thing, here in German we say, here plays the music in the 911, exactly in this range.
Yep.
Here's the engine, here's the gearbox, here's the rear axle, now, by the way, with 21-inch wheels.
Yeah.
And you still have luggage compartment, and you can put your children here inside. And be honest, I got 2 kids. In the meantime, 2 engineers working at Porsche, and they grew up exactly here.
Oh, there you go. Good homework. Good R&D project.
Yeah.
Michael, August just quickly mentioned about the wheels. So we're 20 on the front, 21 on the rear. I know you designers love big wheels. I like big wheels too, but they've got to be functional, right? I mean, in terms of aerodynamics and also rolling resistance. What's the idea around this wheel combination on the new generation car?
With the power and performance of this car, you know very well, I mean, you should have good aerodynamics. Otherwise, it becomes more kind of airplane. So I would say the tricky thing was that we wanted to keep the surfaces very clean on that car. So I think it was more challenging for the aerodynamic guys that they had to do all their arrangements, let's say, invisible. And yes, it goes without saying, I mean, designers love big wheels. But in that case, even the guys from the chassis department were, let's say, in the front line because they had to make sure that the car gets the power on the tarmac.
Yeah.
And we didn't argue, so we.
No, I'm happy. I like the 21-inch rear tire. It looks good. August. Yeah. Oliver Blumer mentioned in his speech about the software and the special wet map systems that we have, which I was with you a few weeks ago, only testing that on the PG track, which was very impressive. One of the most advanced structure control systems I've ever experienced in my life, including racing. Quickly, just run us through why and how we got to the solution on this car.
Well, you know, a sports car is not just a heavy car, it's quite a light car, but simultaneously it's equipped with wide tires. And this combination, not such a heavy car, wide tires, and then maybe heavy rain, very much water on the road, is not such a good combination. And we wanted to improve the behavior of the car during these conditions, and found out of our pre-development a new wet mode. And the spectacular thing is the car detects by itself, by sensors within the wheelhouse, how much water is on the road.
There's a sensor in the wheel arch. Right?
In the wheel arch, yeah. And depending on the frequencies these are caused by the water, the stability systems adapted to these conditions, especially ABS and traction control, and simultaneously it shows to the driver, please put on the wet mode, and when the driver does it, then the spoiler comes up to produce more downforce, and when you have a C4 model, there's more torque transmitted to the front axle just to keep the car as stable as possible. But I have to mention one thing. You should not switch off your brain. It's still up to you to have the perfect speed under these conditions.
That's what the racing drivers do.
Absolutely.
Racing drivers switch their brain off. I think that's a very good system for the UK because it rains there all the time, doesn't it? So that will work well. Michael, is it possible to quickly show us through? No. I just want to have a quick look through the interior. That's okay. You want to do the yellow one? Let's have a look in the yellow one. Let's
because
do that.
The yellow car is.
It looks nice. Let's do the yellow one.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to have a look through why and how Michael and his team will put the ignition on so you can have a bit of a look at the lighting. Run us through the streamlined dashboard you have here.
Yeah, I mean, for us at Porsche, the driver is always in the focus of our job, and it's really, we try to arrange everything that the whole user experience and user interface really supports the driver driving. And again, the tricky part was balancing this, what we called to create this analog precision in combination with this digital experience. And I think we found a pretty good way. You have this very sophisticated touch screens on one hand, and on the other side, you have as well just very traditional switches.
When designing the car, who is the driver you had in mind?
I mean, there's not one special person. That's more different categories. You know, person that just enjoy easy driving and enjoy the look of the car. Then you have people using the car as a daily driver, take the car over the weekend on the road trip, and then you have, let's say, the really ambitious drivers that are even able to drive the car up to the limit. Maybe like former Formula One drivers,
maybe
like Alan Prost and these guys.
Yes. Well, there's a long list. They all have them. August, it's the last generation car that you're going to work on. So I imagine this is a car that's extremely close to your heart. So what's your feelings on working on this model line for the last time?
It's always a very exciting moment for me to present a new 911, and the first one which I presented had been the 997 several years ago. So it's the third generation I present and will be my last. But I'm completely happy to present it here, especially in California, because here, in my opinion, here are the biggest Porsche fans and 911 fans all over the world with this density of fans here. So it's a really pleasure for me and an honor to present this car here. And yeah, well, now I have to say, just have fun with this car.
Absolutely. Well, your team have done an absolutely incredible job. I think that, as you said at the top, it's a very, very tough project. And also I want to add that never at any point have we had more females driving 911s when it comes to elegance and power and timeless style. Good. This is what we have, and we have Maria Sharapova here, our brand ambassador, so it's nice. Please give Maria a round of applause. So it's a car for everyone, and yeah, thank you very much, guys. If you want to take a seat, and
Thank you.
see you at the bar. What do you think?